Welcome to your Virgo season solar flow. Let's begin with our 2 feet together and coming into this present moment, gently closing down or softening the gaze. Taking a few nourishing breaths in. And placing the hands on the low belly as you inhale, expanding the low belly. And exhale, contract, hugging the navel in. Beginning your Ujjayi breath, that victorious breath here. As you inhale, inflating the low belly, expanding. Exhaling, contracting, expelling the air, exhaling. And as you continue to deepen the breath, inhaling through the low belly and exhaling through the low belly, allowing this to be the engine of the breath, you can gently start to constrict the back of the throat ever so gently. To listen to your victorious breath. We're changing the quality of the breath. This is a slow and steady, deep inhale and deep exhale. Making that sound with the breath, sound of the ocean. Continuing to breathe here, we're going to scan the body. So bringing your awareness to the top of the head and imagining a pitcher of warm coconut oil pouring down over the crown of your head, melting away any tension. That warm oil is going to pour down over the face, relaxing all of the features of the face, relaxing the neck and the shoulders, melting away all the tension in your shoulders. Your sternum's going to drop down as your shoulders roll back and the shoulder blades melt down. Feeling this warm sensation, melting any tension away in your biceps, your elbows, your forearms, and your wrists. The thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, and fourth finger are all relaxed. Relaxing the chest and the underarms, the side waist, relaxing the rib cage and the low back, the stomach, continuing to breathe here through the low belly. Releasing any tension in the pelvis, the hips and the thighs, the kneecaps, perhaps gently lifting up and out of the kneecaps. Relaxing the calves and the shins, the low legs. Relaxing the ankles and your feet. Bringing your awareness to your whole body and noticing the temperature even of the day. Any sounds you might be hearing as you come into the present moment. Just taking a moment to become aware. As you bring your awareness to your third eye, so engaging your optic nerve and just looking up gently at the space between the eyebrows and noticing the weather pattern of your mind today. See if you can continue to breathe as you do this. Noticing if your thoughts since you woke up today have been fast, jumping from past to future, thought to thought, agitated. Or perhaps your thoughts have been slow, foggy, sluggish, tamasic. Or perhaps your thoughts in your mind have been calm, serene, peaceful, sattvic. Whatever the pattern is of the mind, noticing that it's the nature of the mind to think, to fluctuate, to change, like the weather. And instead of getting caught up in the thoughts, identifying with the fluctuating, temporal, impermanent, unreal, see if you can identify with the vast, eternal, open sky. That state of ever-present awareness that is always with you eternally, the observer, space before thought enters the mind. And entering into the state of the observer, continuing to inhale and exhale at your own pace, deepening the breath, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath. I'm going to guide you through your daily practice with attention to the details. Virgo rules over your daily routines and habits. And my intention for this class is to gift you with a doable daily practice, a pragmatic practice. So inhaling, the arms come up very gently, and we're actually one breath, one movement. We're tracing the inhale with our movement, and exhaling, the arms come down. We're just practicing moving with the breath now. Inhaling, the arms come up as the shoulders melt down. And exhaling, beautiful. And we're going to be practicing this one breath, one movement Vinyasa flow as we inhale mindfully, moving with the breath, exhaling, folding down, protecting the low back by engaging the core, and then releasing into our forward fold. And rolling up the spine, inhaling, one breath, one movement. And exhaling, folding down, releasing to the earth. Inhaling, coming up. Melting the shoulders down, and exhaling into our forward fold here. Rolling up the spine, articulating vertebra by vertebra one more time. And exhaling, coming down, swan diving down, hugging the navel in. And releasing here into your forward fold. So if there was one practice you could do as part of your daily routine, ruled over by the Virgo archetype, zodiac constellation, it would be this. It would be your forward fold. Here we have the feet together. Feel free to separate them out, hips width apart, if that is more accessible for you. Traditionally, the practice is done with the feet together. And bending the knees, and the low belly rests on the quads. So we're making that compression of the stomach onto the legs here. And that compression is so healthy for the gut. Virgo rules over our digestive system, our gut health, our stomach, as well as our nervous system. So as you allow the low belly to compress, just noticing what's going on with your stomach, your belly today. Our mental health depends on our gut health. So much of our serotonin is produced in the gut, many neurochemicals produced in the gut. So the belly is the mirror to the mind. And Virgo is a cerebral mental sign, yet it's earthy. It's an earth sign, but ruled by Mercury, which is about logical, rational thought. And hence, we're taking a very pragmatic approach to our practice today for Virgo season. So if there's one practice you can do a day, I would love for you to spend 1 or 2, maybe 3 minutes or more in your forward fold. Now you can begin to pedal out the knees, bending one knee at a time if that works for you. You might even be clasping the wrists here over the elbows to rock a little bit and sway side to side, shaking the head yes, no. Letting the brain be heavy in the skull as you release even more tension here. Continuing your Ujjayi breath. And then releasing the hands down. See if you can take your middle finger and your index finger, your 2-piece fingers, and wrap them around your big toe here. And the elbows come out, and I'm hugging myself in. I'm bending my knees. Or you can do this with the knees straight if you have really flexible hamstrings. And I'm just pulling myself in a little bit deeper into this as I release my neck even more. Taking a few Ujjayi breaths like this, exploring what it's like to wrap your peace fingers around your peace toes. And then releasing that and taking the hands palms up, palms facing up, and placing them underneath your feet, your padas. You might even get a little wrist massage with the toes coming onto near the wrists here. If this doesn't feel good, feel free to skip it. Just stay in your forward fold for a few more breaths here. Noticing any resistance that might come up here, and how can you make yourself more at ease, more relaxed and surrender deeper into this posture. You might even explore with your balance, rocking back and forth a little bit with your palms facing up here before you just release the hands. And we're going to roll up vertebra by vertebra here, coming to stand again. We're going to be moving through our Surya Namaskar A and B. This is a beautiful daily practice. Movement is medicine. So many powerful benefits from movement. We're going to be practicing one breath, one movement. As we inhale, we are going to move, and exhale, we will move through this beautiful sun salutation here. We're saluting the sun in Virgo. Virgo represents this hope, as Virgo was the last thing, item, the last thing to come out of Pandora's box in Greek mythology. After all these plagues and famines came out of Pandora's box, all the chaos was released into the earth. The last thing was Virgo, representing hope, and Virgo was then placed in the sky as the Virgin, representing wholeness, the one who is whole before entering into partnership, which is next during Libra season. So coming into that state of wholeness, also Virgo loves purity, just that pure essence that we find in our meditation, the pure essence of our soul, that untouched, untouchable essence of our being. So here, let us begin our beautiful practice just to connect into the essence of our being, inhaling and exhaling, forward folding. Gently lift and lengthen, inhale. Exhale, placing the hands down on the earth, stepping back into your plank position as you exhale all the way to the earth chaturanga, or all the way down if you're not ready for a full upward facing dog yet. You can take a low cobra, or you might be ready for your full upward facing dog as you inhale, opening the heart, the shoulders roll back. I'm pressing down, lifting up, lifting my seat up to the sky, pressing back into my downward facing dog. And I'm going to take 5 deep, luxurious breaths here. Inhaling, Ujjayi breath. Exhaling, Ujjayi breath. Pedaling out the feet, you might like to experiment with the length of your dog a little bit here before settling into stillness. The knees can be bent. We're pressing back, especially through the thumb and index finger. Releasing the neck, the brain is heavy in the head. The gaze is at the navel, and there's a bit of a concave or hollowing out of the low belly here. As I lift through my root lock, engaging and lifting up through the genitals and the anus. Taking a few luxurious breaths here. Another great asana, another great posture to do on the daily is 5 breaths in your downward facing dog. This earthy posture helping us connect into the earth energy of Virgo season. And after you've taken your 5th breath here, lifting up onto the demi point of the toes as you press back, looking forward. The trick to hopping forward is looking forward or just stepping forward to your forward fold. And we're going to roll up the spine as we inhale all the way up. Shoulders melt down as the hands come up, and exhaling, bringing the hands to your heart center here. Gorgeous. Basking or reposing in the after effect of this beautiful sun salutation. Connecting in to that rooted pragmatism of Virgo. And now we're going to be focusing on the details. Virgo is analytical and attains mastery through the details, through the minutiae, focusing on the small things of our in our daily life, especially those atomic habits. Releasing the hands, the palms are facing forward, feeling rooted in through the feet, pressing down through the feet as we lift up. Exhaling into our second Surya Namaskar A. Beautiful. Gently lift and lengthen. An isometric contraction here with the crown moving forward and the coccyx or tailbone coming back. My navel is engaged. I'm exhaling, placing all 10 fingers on the earth. My fingers are spread apart. As I step back, my shoulders stay over the wrists. My navel is engaged. My legs are active. I'm exhaling into my Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, rising up, opening the heart, shoulders melting back, the neck, the chin is the last thing to come up if that feels good for you. And then pressing back, engaging the navel, lifting the seat up, concaving the belly, releasing the hamstrings to the earth. My 10 fingers press down into the earth as I press back into this beautiful downward facing dog posture for 5 deep breaths. Releasing the neck, the brain is heavy in the head. So Virgo is how we show up to be of service in the world, also ruling over our health. Of course, when we are healthy, we can be of greater service to others. Virgo ruling over our daily routines and habits. So I would love for you to commit to improving your habits by 1% every day. These are your atomic habits. And if we can just improve our daily routine and habits, especially related to our health and how we show up to serve, they add up over time. So just a small, minute, detail-oriented shifts to our habits add up. And exhaling, looking forward, perhaps hopping to the top of the mat or just gently walking. And rising up, I'm going to come up with a flat back, hugging the navel in to protect my low belly. And getting my earring out of my hair. Excuse me. So coming up to stand here, staying present in your daily ritual, your practice. We're going to do one more round of Surya Namaskar A. If you have any questions of how to integrate this into your daily routine, definitely hit me up in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Feeling rooted in, just reposing for another moment in the after effect of the asana, noticing, analyzing, Virgo being I analyze, the analyst. How does it feel? What changes have occurred and shifted in your system? And again, inhaling, coming up, shoulders melting down. Exhale forward, fold the navel is engaged as I release my neck. Inhaling, gently lift and lengthen, an isometric contraction, placing the hands down on the earth as I exhale all the way to the ground. Here, my elbows hug in rather than come out. And I'm actually looking forward as I release my hips, pubic bone down to the earth. I'm protecting my low back by engaging my navel. Shoulders are melting down. And I could look up at the end here if I felt like that. The heart is open. And now I'm pressing back. And technically, you're supposed to roll over both of your toes. If that's not safe for you, please don't do that. Just go one at a time. Pressing back into your third downward facing dog of your beautiful Virgo solar flow. Inhaling Ujjayi breath. Exhaling Ujjayi breath. 5 breaths here. How can you be of greatest service today? That is the question to ask every morning of Virgo season and beyond. One more breath here. Deep cleansing breath. And pressing back, looking forward, coming to the top of my mat, being aware of the wrists here and coming up. I'm coming up with a flat back. You might like to roll up. Reaching the hands up for a moment before bringing them down to Anjali at my heart center, both hands together, pressing together at the heart. And taking a few breaths, noticing any heat being generated in the body, any toxins being released through the squeezing and releasing of the glands. Perhaps you can even hear your blood flowing if you listen internally. The nervous system is calming down, coming into a state of rest and digest. Beautiful. And releasing the hands here, we're going to move through our Surya Namaskar B, just maybe one time here, just so you can perhaps choose to integrate this into your daily practice. So what I'm suggesting for your daily practice is your forward fold, Surya Namaskar A, 3 rounds of that with 5 breaths each in downward facing dog, and perhaps even 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar B. However, you can always, not do that if that you're not ready for that or you don't have the time as well. Surya Namaskar B is similar to our A. However, we have a chair pose and we have a warrior A. So in our chair pose, we are bending the knees. We're going to come into this posture properly, but I'm just going to demonstrate. So we're bending at the knees here. I should be able to see my toes. So it's almost like a balancing posture as my weight is back on my heels here. I'm staying long and lifted through the low back. My bandha, my root chakra, and my root lock are engaged here. So I'm lifting in and up. My genitals and anus are lifting in and up. That's like a Kegel exercise for women. Or if you have to urinate and stop really quick, it's kind of that energy more or less if you're trying to find or locate this lock that I'm talking about, part of our yogic technology. And then finally, my hands are coming up and I'm just gently looking up. My gaze is forward and up here. So this is going to be our chair pose. And then our warrior A is like the feet on railroad tracks. My back foot is angled in here. So rather than be parallel to the mat, it's actually pointing towards the corner a bit here. And my hips come forward, like my headlights on my hips are straight ahead there. My right knee is over my right ankle in this instance. And I'm really working to creating as much separation in the feet like they're on railroad tracks here, parallel. I'm working to really get the hips forward here. As I lift in and up, the floating ribs come in, the sternum is dropped down rather than lifting up, and the shoulders are melting back here. So this is our warrior A posture we're going to find in our flow. Are you ready? Let us begin bringing the feet together at the top of our mat here, feeling rooted. Lifting the hands up as I deeply inhale and exhaling Ujjayi breath, forward folding. And then coming into my chair posture. So we could also do it like this. We could just begin with our chair posture too. I like to do this is a little untraditional. Slight deviation from the original plan. But yeah, I like to inhale, exhale, forward fold, and then I like to come into my chair posture. However, you could just come into your chair posture too if that feels better for you. All right, let's really start this time. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling chair, exhaling, forward fold, gently lift and lengthen. Stepping back into your plank posture, Chaturanga Dandasana, opening the heart, exhaling back, lifting the right foot or simply stepping forward into our warrior A. Inhaling to rise, exhaling plank, Chaturanga, heart opens, pressing back, lifting the left foot, stepping through, placing the foot down, Surya A or warrior A, Vira A, and coming down to the earth, exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling back for 5 breaths. So we moved pretty quickly there through this Surya Namaskar B. Beautiful. And once you've taken 5 breaths, you can just step forward and roll up the spine, coming to stand. So this would be a beautiful practice, standing practice, to take with you, very pragmatic, simple practice to take with you for a daily routine. Then we're going to come to the mat for the last part of our daily practice. And you can just find a seat here. And we're going to also forward fold here. If you have a block, feel free to grab it, or any kind of pillow to prop yourself up, perhaps a bolster even. So coming in here, pressing the hands down, my fingertips are facing forward. I'm rolling the shoulders back. I'm getting really tall. And maybe you could even lift yourself up off the ground if you have enough, long enough arms and strong enough core. But this is fine here, just pressing the hands into the earth and then lifting the arms up. We're coming forward into our forward fold. Paschimottanasana. And the feet are flexed. And we're staying active and lifted. So rather than rolling the back down, see if you can stay active and lifted here. Your hands might come to your shins or even your toes. You might like to take your peace toes around your big toes. I'm just going to take a few breaths here. How can I be of greatest service today? And then with the last few breaths, you can actually roll and release the neck and round the back, making this into more of a yin posture. Gorgeous. Coming up, and let's bend the left foot in for Janu Shavasana A, and just gently folding over the right leg. You can make this more of a surrendered posture rather than active through the spine, or if you want to stay really active, you can lift the chest up and forward, lifting the gaze, but with a soft drishti, a soft gaze always. Or perhaps you want to just melt down, placing the forehead close to the knee for a few breaths. And coming up and switching sides. Hugging the right knee in, the knee drops to the floor, opening the hip as we surrender down, or stay active if you like here. As you breathe, Ujjayi breath. And coming up, gorgeous. Let us place the feet on the ground, sitting up nice and tall, and coming into our boat pose. So this is a really beautiful, easy way to start to begin to activate and engage the core. My knees are bent here, and I can just alternate touching the ground before coming into a moment of pause here in my half boat pose. And I'm staying really lifted through the chest. My shoulders are melting and rolling back. My low back is staying lifted, and I'm really engaging my core before I'm going to come into the full extension of this beautiful boat pose, Navasana. For a few deep Ujjayi breaths. Gorgeous. And release the feet. Let's roll down to the earth and releasing all the way down with the knees still bent and the feet on the floor, hips width apart. Let's knock the knees in, internally rotating here just to release any pressure off the sacrum for a moment. Beautiful. And then let's just roll up the spine a few times. An easy, nice spinal roll, lifting the hips into bridge and rocking up and down the sacrum as well. And then finally, keeping the hands down, the palms are facing downward as I lift my hips up, perhaps even walking my shoulders underneath me. And I'm pressing my feet firmly into the earth as my knees and thighs stay parallel. And you might even like to walk your hands underneath your hips for some support here, or clasping the hands underneath the back. And breathing deeply, Ujjayi breath. Lifting up through the hips. And rolling down the spine, releasing. If it resonates or feels good with you, you can open the knees into Badakanasana with the feet together. Perhaps you have blocks or pillows you could prop under the legs. Taking a few breaths here. Perhaps bringing the left hand to the heart and the right hand to the belly. Calming the nervous system. Getting into that rest and digest state. Becoming aware of your gut health, your digestion in Ayurveda, the ancient lifestyle wisdom of India. Digestion is the seat of health. And dis-ease, comes from undigested food in the stomach that creates toxins, ama. What daily routines and habits can I slowly begin to implement to improve and support my digestion, which is my health, so that I can feel good and be of highest service? This is a great season to clean up your diet, do a little gentle, loving detox to support our system. And releasing the legs, you can just come into your Shavasana, final resting posture here. Releasing, surrendering, allowing, feeling the harmonious distribution of all the energy you receive during this beautiful pragmatic practice throughout your entire being. A heaviness coming over the body, feeling weighted, grounded, the earth supporting you. Releasing the conscious breath, breathing naturally. As you rest, integrating your practice, relaxing your feet and your legs, relaxing the hips and the stomach, Relaxing the back, the low back and the upper back. Relaxing the shoulders and the chest, the underarms. Relaxing the arms, the hands. Relaxing your neck. Relaxing every hair on your head, your whole face, all your facial features. The tongue is heavy in the mouth, the lips are slightly parted. Feeling a sensation of floating, a dissolving of the body outline. Sense of merging, expanding as you release even deeper. How can I be of highest service today? Wiggling your fingers as you slowly start to come back into the body, rolling out the wrists and the ankles, stretching the arms out overhead gently as you roll over to one side, cradling your ear on your bicep like a pillow, resting in this fetal position for just a moment on one side. And perhaps you might even like to turn your fetal position into a twist by opening up the right arm to the right side. Allowing yourself here, supporting the gut health again with a nice twist, detoxifying through the abdomen and the stomach. Taking a few breaths resting here. The right shoulder on the ground. Perhaps looking out over the right fingertips. Before releasing and coming back to center and coming to the other side, allowing the knees just to drop and knock over to the right, stretching out the left arm and looking out over the left fingertips gently, or closing down the eyes. Twisting. And then taking your time to come back to the center before you come to a seat. And perhaps even checking out easy pose where my foot comes on top of my calf here. So you might know how to sit cross-legged. And then here we're just taking one of the feet. I have my left foot and it's sitting on top of my calf here. This is a nice way to sit, practical way to sit for your meditation. Or the feet can be on the ground. If you have a trouble sitting like this, you can always prop up the knees with pillows to support you to feel comfortable. And we're just going to pause here for a moment and take a few breaths together. Inhaling and exhaling. This deep cleansing breathing is so vital for our health, our pranic body, So seeing if you can adopt the atomic habit of simply allowing yourself a deep breath every 20 minutes or so as you move through your everyday. And bringing the hands to your heart center. And just bowing gently, perhaps placing the forehead on the earth to conclude our practice. Namaste.